everyone, welcome to our channel. If you are not already familiar with our channel, my name is Alyssa and this is Britton, and here we talk about comics. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below. That way you will see our faces once a week.
At least.
Yes. So today we're going to tell you guys what we got for comics today, and then also we're going to both be doing some comic reviews of some series that we've read over the past couple weeks. What did we get for today?
For today we got Batman and Robin Eternal number 26, Guardians of the Galaxy number 4. What? Already got number 7. That's weird. It's already like on number 6, but number 4. Captain America Standoff number 7, 75th anniversary. Super excited to read that one. War of Kings, Marvel's War of Kings. Heard lots of good things. And Huntress series.
Not many new comics this week, so.
For the first review, last week, as y'all know, we got Dr. Fate, the 03 through 04 5-part miniseries. And I actually really enjoyed this one. It had a lot of had a really good story to it. Dr. Fate is a very interesting character. He wears a helmet that actually gives him magical powers from the sorcerers and sorceresses from Egypt, and Naboo is actually following him inside the helmet wherever he goes. Dr. Fate balances chaos and order. That's his main purpose of everything that he does. Now, where the comic takes place is in Salem, Massachusetts, where the Salem witch trials happened way back when. The antagonist, who's actually trying to get rid of Dr. Fate, all you get is his name, Justin. You don't get a last name, but Justin then gets a job to go steal the helmet of chaos. Where when he gets to the place that he's supposed to go, he just sees the being of chaos, also called the curse, just kill this guy who grabbed the helmet. And so Justin just sees this happen. He's just staring at this being, and the being says to him, would you like ultimate power and get whatever you want? Justin's like, yeah. He's reluctant at first because he sees what happens to the first guy, but then he's like, yeah, I'll take that offer. What ends up happening is he becomes the cursed being, and he flies back to Salem, Massachusetts, and then goes after his ex-girlfriend at the time. And he just sees her. He's like, this'll decide your fate, this fate of Salem, if you say yes or no. And she says, no, I'm not going to be with you, especially since you're going to be like this. And so he freaks out and goes on a rampage, and Dr. Fate just doesn't sense anything until it's way too late and the attack's already started. He avoids Dr. Fate's senses of magic. How? We don't know. It doesn't explain. But it's just what happens. And Dr. Fate actually catches up with everything, and Curse has now sent out demons to do his bidding, take it out people, kill people. And by the end of it, Dr. Fate is so mad with them, just irritated, because Salem is now basically all destroyed except for a few things. Dr. Fate actually, they say that the Hector Hall dies because of one of the curses attacks on him. He stabs him right through the gut. And so you see like all these demons encircle Dr. Fate and trying to kill and just finishing the job. And so it goes to a cutscene of Hector Hall and Naboo. They're having this conversation in ancient Egypt now, and Naboo's like, you weren't fit to be the next Dr. Fate, yada yada yada. And Hector says, screw you, I sure am. I'm more human than you. And he just punches Naboo in the face. And then all of a sudden it goes back to Dr. Fate, or Naboo says, you are fit now, after he gets punched in the face. And so it goes back to Dr. Fate's body, and he wakes up, and blasts all these demons off of him. And then it goes to a final fight between the Curse and Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is badly wounded, and the Curse is now backpedaling because he's like, what do I have to do to kill this guy? So they both give it everything they have, and ends up almost destroying the entire town. Almost. Except for like couple thousand people, I guess. Because then, after the final flash that you see, Dr. Fate's won, and the Curse is lost, and Dr. Fate has cut off his head. So all you see is like this little head inside this helmet still, and Dr. Fate actually has a trophy room, and he just places the helmet and the head right there in this trophy room. It's kind of gruesome. I mean, talk about war stories and stuff. He keeps a head of a man he killed. Then he has to wipe out the entire town's memory of the events past, this past week or whatever, however long it is. And there's only a couple survivors that he leaves to remember what happened, because they were studying Dr. Fate's witchcraft anyways. They're like, okay, Dr. Fate just let them have the memory still because he thought it would be okay for these couple of people to still have them. Nobody else knows though. And that's how that story ends. You see Dr. Fate just goes back to his Tower of Solitude and sits there, and he just goes back to what he was doing beforehand. Overall, really good. Just didn't really care for the covers except for the one. Number 4. I love number 4. The rest of them are just like, eh. But overall, thumbs up. Really cool. Really good story. Starting to like Dr. Fate more and more. Would you like to do yours now?
Yes, I would. I read a mini-series of Supergirl, just a super short 4-issue series. And this was first published in 1994. So yeah, this story, the first thing that you see in the first issue is there's like this explosion, and Supergirl is kind of in the middle of all of it, and then it reveals that it was kind of like an experiment, like a stunt. So Lex Luthor is on the other side of it and telling her how good she did and whatever. At this point, Lex is kind of like putting off to Supergirl that she's like his pride and joy, and that he would never let anything bad happen to her, when in reality he kind of has an ulterior motive. Then we see one of the doctors, Dr. Sydney, doing some experiments on her, taking like some blood work or whatever, and she kind of knows that Lex kind of has like an ulterior motive, but she doesn't really say anything to Supergirl. In the very beginning of the next book, we see Supergirl's gone off to Singapore to do more like experiments, testing, and she, during one of her like outings to go like out in the city or whatever while she's on like a break, she runs into one of Lex's exes, and she tries to warn Supergirl like, hey, he's a bad guy, you should stay away from him, even though at this point, so the ex is actually Lex Senior, the one who did a whole bunch of bad things, so that's his ex, that's the one that was trying to warn, and the Lex that Supergirl's involved with is the son of that Lex Luthor, or so she thinks at this point. So it doesn't really work, and Supergirl's just kind of like, no, he's different than his dad, blah, 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 and, you know, what do you know? And she tries to warn Supergirl, like, hey, you see that guy right there? He's been following you because they don't trust you, you know? They have to keep tabs on you at all times because they think that you're, like, this dangerous threat or whatever. Then after that, at this point, they're still doing tests on Supergirl in Singapore, and it's kind of draining her. She's actually going through a lot, and she keeps thinking about what Lex's ex said to her. It's kind of running through her mind, and so she actually transforms herself to look like one of the workers there at the facility. and she overhears some people talking about how Supergirl is kind of being used and that she's just so stupid and doesn't see it. After that, she gets really suspicious, and so she overhears about this Operation Proto Matter that's supposed to be happening, and one of the doctors there in Singapore, Dr. Eller, is supposed to go over and kind of see what's going on with that ASAP. And so then Supergirl basically takes form like as him and then goes over there and kind of gets the whole scoop on the matter while this other doctor is filling who he thinks is this other doctor in on what's going on. And then that makes her really angry, so she tries to destroy the facility, and this doctor there, he unleashes all of it's actually clones, what it's kind of the operation is. And so he unleashes them on her and tries to get them to defeat her, and she just basically destroys all of them and destroys the facility, and she's just really angry about everything. And so then she tries to destroy all the facilities of Lex's, and so she goes like all around to the different ones in the country and destroys them, and then finally she goes after Lex, and he tries to kind of manipulate her and just kind of to get her back on his side. And so she kind of falls for it like for a second, and unfortunately for her, for that split second, that's kind of gave Lex an opportunity to unleash like gas on her and get her unconscious. So it kind of worked for a second, and then she kind of snapped out of it, and so she was really mad, obviously, and tries to defeat Lex, tries to kill him. And then Superman actually comes in, and he's like, "What are you doing? Stop, don't kill him. He's sick. Can't you see that he's like super like terminally ill?" And she's like, "Nuh-uh, that's just like a whatever, just a front just to try and get me to feel sorry for him, and it's not true." And he's like, "No, it really is." And then she kind of sees that and backs down, and then she goes back to the Kents and hangs out with them for a little while. And throughout the story, she kind of visits with them off and on as well. And then after that, the very, very, very end of the story, she meets back up with Lex's ex and tries to get her to, I guess, kind of be like Supergirl's mentor, to make her not so like, what am I trying to say? Not like gullible. Make her like see the truth in things. That way she won't have to encounter any more Lexes on the earth, so she says. So yeah, that was basically the whole story. I really liked it. The art was the typical 90s art. It was nothing special. But I really liked the covers. Those were really nice. And overall, I think the story is very good for if you enjoy Supergirl, and if you enjoy, I guess, just any really super...
super family?
Yeah, super family, because they all kind of appear in the story at one point or another, or any female superhero even too. So yes, I recommend it for anyone, because it's a pretty good read.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
I like it. I like it a lot. As I said before, if you are not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and that way you will be able to see our faces on a weekly basis now. Thank you guys for watching, and give us a thumbs up if you notice that our background is finally put together.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, somewhat.
Somewhat. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.